And for more on this, for the latest update, we're now joined by SABC News reporter Lerato Fekisi, who has been following this raging fire since later this afternoon. And Lerato, thank you so much for joining us this evening. Perhaps let's start off with just the latest coming out. Has the fire been able to be contained?
Good evening to you, Mbali. Just a few minutes ago, I spoke to the Acting Executive Director for Safety and Security in Port Elizabeth, Mr. Nelson Mandela, and he did confirm that the fire is still so far from being contained. In fact, he said it's out of control. And the reason is because there is such a strong wind that's blowing southeasterly now in an area which is really predominantly veld and bushes and fynbos and also a lot of wildlife. And they're trying really their best, as has been throughout the afternoon, to try to contain the fire. But I really must confirm that the strong wind that is blowing so strong and continues to blow strong, I think he said is blowing at 50 kilometers per hour and will increase over the next 24 hours, is what's making it so hard for the firefighters to try to contain the fire in that area.
And do we know what actually caused this fire?
They actually aren't too sure exactly what caused the fire. They're still doing the investigation, but they were saying that their primary concern now is to try and contain the fire. And like you heard in my mock earlier on, the fire is also quite close to a settlement which has got a lot of horses. There's a stable there actually with about 40 horses. There's a lot of wildlife. There are animals in that area, and they have evacuated everyone that's close to that area. So in terms of human safety, that's been dealt with, but their concern is to try to contain the fire. Mr. Nelson did say that the fire will probably take about 48 hours, if not more, because the wind is blowing just so strongly.
Are we aware in terms of how many people have been affected by this fire? I know that wildlife right now is also a major concern.
Wildlife is a huge concern. In terms of the animals, we have got confirmation that about 6 puppies coming from a residential home have actually died, and two of the dogs also trying to be rescued. In terms of the number of people that have been evacuated, looking at about 50 to 20 people in that area. Sacramento, which is a settlement close by in Sardinia Bay, all the people there have been evacuated for their safety and have been taken to a place of safety, being supplied with water and other goods that they need.
Do we know how many firefighters have been deployed to try and contain this fire?
In the afternoon, we spoke to the firefighters. They did explain that all the firefighters from the various regions in Gqeberha, that being Gqeberha, that being Nelson Mandela Bay Metro, have been deployed. So you're looking at close to over 20 or 30 firefighters that have been deployed throughout Sardinia Bay to try and contain the fires, because at one side they do try contain it and then it flares up again because of the wind, and also because the area has got a settlement, an informal area that they're trying to also safeguard. They keep on deploying more firefighters there to safeguard the properties there as well.
And how difficult is the weather making it, difficult or challenging for the firefighters to actually try and contain it?
It's really making it very difficult. I think close to impossible. I mean, we were there for about 1.5 hours, and within like a space of 10 minutes, the fire goes from being so far away where you can see it, but at a distance, and then within like 10 or 15 minutes, it's coming so close to you, and we were told continuously to keep on moving back because the fire was coming even closer to where we are. So the firefighters are really, really struggling. They're trying their best to obviously make sure that no one gets injured. They're trying their best to try and contain the fire, to protect the community there, but it is really so hard. The wind is blowing so strongly. I mean, you have to sit in the car to try and safeguard yourself from the wind and the fire blowing so strongly. So what's going to make it really difficult, not because the firefighters don't have the ability to contain the fire, but the wind is making it really hard. And like I said earlier on, it's blowing now southeasterly at 60 kilometers per hour, which is really quite strong, and they're expecting it to even pick up overnight, which will make it even more tough to contain the fire.
And do we know if whether there is a need for more firefighters to come in and help those who are already there, because it seems as if it is quite of a mammoth task right now?
Yes, we spoke to the Acting Executive Director of Safety and Security, Mr. Nelson Mandela. He did say that they're going to observe the fire throughout the night, but there is obviously right now a concern of the fire spreading so rapidly, and it looks like from the conversations that we heard between them and the firefighters, they're probably going to try out for more assistance and more help. But it really is hands on decks with policemen, with community workers also on site to try and see what they can do. But at this stage, it does seem that they're going to need more help to try and contain this fire that's just raging and flaring up at such a fast speed.
All right, Lerato, thank you so much for that update. That is our reporter, Lerato Fekisi, just giving us an update about that fire in Sardinia Bay.